Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Soul School Network. This is another Sunday Circle. We have a group with us here live, and of course, many viewers will be watching this on our YouTube channel as well. A very interesting topic today. I think something everyone will be able to relate to. It's the old adage, "What goes around comes around," and so we'll dig into that a little bit more. After we do a grounded meditation. Orianka is not with us today, but we will play her grounded meditation from YouTube and try and get ourselves in the spirit for the conversation.
Lie down or sit in a comfortable position. To start, you might close your eyes if that feels good. Take 3 deep, relaxing breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll start scanning our bodies for any tension there might be. Starting at the head. We'll do this together. We'll just observe without making any meaning out of it. Scan the crown of your head, the back of your head, your face and neck, your shoulders, one arm and then the other, all the way down to your hands. Now your back, from the neck all the way down to the final bone of the spine. You can focus your attention now on your chest and your abdomen. Are there any sensations so far? Any muscle tension? Just observe it for now. Continue with your right leg and foot and your left leg and foot. Wherever you found tension, let it go gently by visualizing that it is a white cloud that slides down your body all the way to your feet, leaving your body through the soles of the feet. Perhaps there will be many clouds of tension leaving your body. That's great. You're letting them go. You can feel good about it. Once tension is out of your body, it will be gone and transformed into life-giving energy. Let's take a deep, relaxing breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let it feel good. You can stretch your body and make sure you are comfortable wherever you are. You are a beloved child of God and the earth, deeply connected to her, Notice how your feet are planted on the ground, either physically or energetically at all times. Feeling the earth with the soles of your feet. Feel how your energy grows and extends itself from the soles of your feet towards Mother Earth. You are growing energetic roots that go into the moist, rich soil under your feet, uniting with the Mother, receiving nourishment and love from her. The more your roots extend and go deeper and deeper into the earth, the more you feel deeply grounded and held in love by Mother Earth. Stay present in this moment. You can feel it. Remain grounded and present in this moment. Grounded and present. Grounded and present. You can gently go back to your breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more time. Now you can slowly open your eyes when it feels good to you, and move your body slowly as you come back. Enjoy a beautiful day.
Thank you, Koryanka. We will. I think we're all sufficiently grounded now to have a fun conversation. Welcome, everyone. My name's Greg. I'm host today for Sunday Circle on Soul School Network. Today, we're taking on a topic that, has some spiritual connotations, I believe. And I know some of our participants will share in that. The subject is what goes around comes around. And some people will equate that with karma. And in fact, there are some religions that uh, deeply believe in the whole concept of karma and dharma. And I know that we have people here who have studied that in the past. Um, what does the phrase "what goes around comes around" mean to you? Is it something that you use? Is it something that you believe? Um, uh, do you think there's some truth to it? Is it a, is it somehow connected to God? Or is it just a saying, or wishful thinking? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. What you know about that, and maybe about karma, as well as whether it's something that applies in everybody's life. You know, uh, is karma something that we pass from one life to another? Is it something that happens day to day? The other thing would be fun is if you have any stories about uh, what goes around comes around in your own life or in the lives of people around you that might resonate with this group. So let's get into the subject now. Who would like to kick things off for us? Marion, you've got your
Yeah,
hand up. You're
yeah.
number one with the
Okay.
bullet.
I was just thinking about, Neville Goddard talking about when you look in a mirror and you smile, you get a smile back. If you grimace, you get a grimace back. And I've found for sure that in the number of years that I've been practicing appreciation, that my life has gotten better and better and better. So I'll just leave it there.
That's a good way to start us off. The reflection is really um, seeing your smile um, and in the reverse. So, kind of an interesting way of looking at things. Who else would like to jump in here? Sarah, you've got the feather up, so the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm pumped about this one and have been making notes. And it's just so wonderful when we align with a topic, how the mirror, as Marian is speaking about, it just, wow, it becomes extremely clear. Neville Goddard actually is one of my teachers. He teaches about positivity. I have a tattoo here, uh, PMA, which is from Neville Goddard's teachings. It means positive mental attitude. And the tattoo has an eye above it, which is represents the father, which is the creative inspiration, uh, the God who gives my daily bread is the inner father that gives to the mother in the heart that receives. So when we receive a divine idea, a creative idea, that is how our abundance and our prosperity and our joy comes to us. And I'll try and make this succinct because there's a lot that I want to share from just yesterday alone. I found a mirror, actually, a free mirror, and I took a photo in front of that mirror and posted it on my new Instagram, which is related to the website that I just launched, Sarah Soul Service, where I'll be giving these courses on how to bring your best self forward and how to remove obstacles. And since I put that up, a lot of teachings have been coming to me about karma and dharma. And so this idea that there's Eric with the coffee and the breakfast, this idea that karma is what goes around, comes around, it kind of creates, it eludes us as to what karma really is. Karma is actually unlearned lessons. So what happens with karma looping is when we don't learn a lesson, we repeat it again and again and again until the lesson comes through and we clear it. And so the notes I have on that, thank you so much, love. Thank you. The notes I took on that, what goes around comes around. Is this true? Well, we repeat things. And what our job is to do is to clear karmic debt. The most important debt to pay off is our karma. And karma is not a reward or punishment. It's an unlearned lesson, which is repeated until we learn it. So the phrase, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, means until you've learned the lesson, you're going to repeat suffering. So if they knew, they wouldn't do it, right? And so this is why we forgive, because really what the person is doing by repeating a karmic lesson is they're creating more pain for themselves and others. So until we make the unconscious conscious, we loop and we repeat. When we begin to awaken through self-observation, self-acceptance, non-judgment to our past actions, then we find the courage to see the truth, no matter how painful it is, which liberates us from the suffering of karma. Because once you equip yourself with the courage to see the real truth, you become responsible for your own pain and how you have contributed to the suffering of others. Then you can free yourself from karma. And it's the most important and pivotal thing that we will do. It's to stop looking at others and how they cause us pain. Stop pointing at others and saying, you hurt me, and begin to claim this ownership for my suffering that feels like it's inflicted from another person is my unlearned lesson. So when I go in there and I begin to unravel, I stop pointing the finger at others. I can forgive them and look at how this pain is perfectly designed for my personal upgrade. This is how and as Susan always speaks about, life being our curriculum, our tests, and how we face our tests and our challenges is how we deal with our curriculum. And so when we begin to see it that way, we take ownership. It's no longer somebody else's fault. And the shift to Dharma is when you live your service. So karma is a debt that needs to be paid. And Dharma, when you move into your soul service, you're paying off your debts. You come into alignment with, and then you see the synchronicities. Then things start to come in. And when you're doing so with this business I'm launching, if someone were to ask me, is it going to be successful? How do you intend on doing that? It is going to be successful because it already is successful, because it's a service that people need that's going to assist them in liberating, and it's going to feel so good, and people are going to feel good about paying money for that service, and I'm going to feel good delivering that service. It's just in alignment. So yesterday we were on our way to a little thrift store, and right as I get out of the truck, a big bald eagle right above my head, and I managed to get a video of this this bald eagle and what was playing on the radio. I'm gonna try and get this out without getting emotional. It's the song called Unwritten. And it says, staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. And it's wild because I'm a writer and I've written a memoir, and I'm now shifting the framing of this and to align it with the soul service and what I'm writing about these courses. This is my book. This is the first book I'm going to deliver to the world. So we go in, I get some wonderful books. It's a bag sale. So fill a bag and I get these wonderful books. Then we're driving down the road and we see an estate sale. We stop and it's just like, junk in this barn. And it's like piles of stuff. And I pull something out from under the pile. And what is it? It's a book by the Ascended Master Hilarion. And on my wall, and Hilarion is the emerald green ray of service. And he assists healers and educators to step into their power. And on my wall, I have a picture of Dad at Machu Picchu holding up a rock that looks just like Machu Picchu. And above him, I have health and healing and service. Hilarion is and we're always saying, instead of hilarious, Hilarion. That's Hilarion. So what are the chances I find this Hilarion book? Then we stop for a little shack for oysters, and a hawk is circling. And in front of us is this beautiful weeping willow. And the weeping willow represents resilience, that no matter the challenges of life, it will bend. And, we think it's weeping because it's sad, but it's not. It's this beautiful cascade, this umbrella of light, the way it brings the light in, and it represents resilience and getting up again. So I also got this horseshoe along with the Hilarion book and the rocking chair I'm rocking in here. Just wow, incredible. Then we go out for dinner and we're sitting at the bar having our dinner, and a woman comes to pay her bill, not our bill, her bill. And she says something about, oh, a voice had been telling me, come to Sylvia tonight, come to Sylvia. And I spontaneously gave a reading to this couple, and I didn't charge them any money. I just, what came through is what came through. And then she says, I was telling them about paying karmic debt. What? So I open up my notebook and I start reading to her about what I'd written about karmic debt. She said, yeah, these spontaneous readings. She said, once I was at a gathering and I gave a reading to Orville Looking Horse. And who is Orville Looking Horse? Orville Looking Horse is of the Lakota tribe, the keeper of the white buffalo pipe. He's the pipe carrier of the prophecy of the white buffalo calf. And what's the card I pulled yesterday? White buffalo calf woman. A year ago today, I was in Peru doing a medicine journey, and the white buffalo calf woman came to me. And then I gifted Dad with a beautiful white buffalo. And then I gifted Eric, my partner, a white buffalo, which he wears. He's never taken off since then. I also have my white buffalo on my altar. What are the chances? And so she's saying this, and I'm usually skeptical when I hear people speaking about these things that we speak about, because I think, oh, it's another charlatan. That's, from Michael and Susan and the work we've done all these years. I have a lot of discernment. She's the real deal. Her name's Tara. She tells me, oh, Sarah and Tara. And then she says, do you know Sam? I said, yeah, Sam's my neighbor. And then Sam had had a crisis the other week. She said, can you come over crying? Can you give me grief counseling? I need your counseling. I said, well, I can't counsel you right now, but I'll come over and give you a hug. And then her friend Tara phones and she says, I put her on speaker because you two need to meet. And then this woman says to me, wait a second, were you the one that was on the porch with Sam? We met virtually. What? So this is not karma. This is dharma. This is when you step into service, things begin to activate where you receive the gifts of the service that you offer. You transcend karma and you begin to walk the path of dharma. Unbelievable. So she said, I can get your number from Sam. Absolutely. Then a man comes up to me and he says, are you Sarah Swinwood? I said, yes. I'm Ryan Harbage. Ryan is a literary agent who is interested in my work that I've also only met virtually. And this is the first time we meet in person. And he said, pardon me, I haven't read through your memoir yet. I'll get to it. And I said, scrap it. I'm pivoting. You need to read what I'm working on now. Wonderful. Send it to me. And then I followed him from my new account and he followed back. And what is happening here? So this is the shift of change your words, change your world, change how you act in the world and how you to serve and not exact do service. This book I have about changing your words, this quote keeps coming up. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in my brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thy own eye? So it's about all the things that I'm saying, to stop pointing the finger at what others are doing wrong, others' missteps, to begin to claim what is your own obstacle, to claim your own pain. Read the letter that pain is delivering to receive the blessing in the lesson. And then the karma opens up. You release your karma and you begin to live in dharma. So there's just an initial beginning. I also have in front of me a bag of mustard seeds. I'll take one out. One mustard seed. Very small. You can't even see it. Well, it's tiny. Mustard seeds are tiny. And the saying is, if ye have faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you can ask this mountain to move from here to there and it will move. So we don't have to have a lot of faith. We don't have to deal with all the pain right away. It's tiny. It can be so small. And we begin. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten.
Wow, Sarah, I don't know if anyone else is going to have a story like that or a day like that. You talk about circles. I'm almost dizzy with the number of connections that kind of came through that. If you want to, Sarah, please put your website on the chat for everyone to have in their collection of websites. And congratulations on that. That's really fantastic. Who else wants to jump in? Sarah's given us a lot to think about. Um, what are your experiences with what goes around comes around, and its meaning?
I'll jump in, Greg.
Sue? Okay.
Thank you. Well, what I've really, by the way, Sarah, thank you so much. I mean, that was just a beautiful understanding of how flow can work when you're aligned, is really how I heard you. And I love the teachings you shared on karma and dharma. And Marion, thank you for starting us out with a positive thought, because I think what goes around comes around has a negative connotation. Like somebody's done something, well, goes around comes around, it's going to get you back, whether it's at the pearly gates or wherever it is, you know. So I think it is comes generally with the sense on the negative, not the positive. And of course, it's positive. So where we're embodying the light we are and we share that, we're creating the Dharma, you know, that Sarah's pointing to. And everything's in the round. The planets are round, you know, we're moving around. How about the story of Hercules, which is a planet 600 times the size of Mother Earth that is coming around the elliptical, and it's getting closer and closer now to the planet, and it's positively charged, and Mother Earth is negatively charged, and we know why. We see the behavior, we see the consciousness. And so because of this large planet coming around the elliptical, getting closer, we're starting to shake, rattle, and roll. We're starting to feel the vibration of the positive and negative meeting one another. And that is a cycle, that's a circle. You know, we live in these approximately 26,000 year cycles, and there's cleanse halfway in between. And this is related to karma. So it's related to going around, but it is also related to karma that keeps us going around on that loop. You know, this idea of the wheel of samsara, that we're going around, and we have this curriculum to look at these unlearned lessons and have opportunities to heal, always more opportunities to heal and grow and expand and be the true light and love that is our birthright. So Hercules, while this is an experience of for the planet, it's karmically based, because if we were positively charged, we wouldn't be having the same overall experience. So this was the purpose of these cleanses, is for us to get other opportunities to be positively charged, essentially to heal this karma. And so yeah, I just wanted to throw that thought in there that you know, everybody's under these same influences, and this is where we can grow our love and compassion. You know, in some of the prayers, you know, there's a soul mantra: I am the soul, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will, I am fixed design. And so we are in we can call it an earth school, but there is a fixed design, and we're not victims to it. It's a design for our evolution, and the curriculum can be deep and it can be challenging, and we, depending on how we approach the curriculum, means whether we're creating more karma or whether we're creating more dharma in our lives. And it sounds like it could be simple, and it isn't, for all the reasons we know, because there's the personality and there's the soul, and who's running the show most of the time. You know, it just depends. And it can depend on everything from how well did we eat, how well did we sleep, you know, the physical things. And then it comes down to what's the work we're doing. Are we meditating? Are we doing spiritual reading? Are we doing things to help us connect with our greater possibility and actually what is more of our existence? We are mostly not a human. We are mostly spirit. You know, we are obviously, you know, spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so if we understood that to the depth of it, then we would be focusing a lot on our spiritual health. And that would really help us then with the karma and dharma that is taking shape in our lives. So there's my 2 cents for the crowd. And
Thank you, Sue. I'm wondering if you could answer this question. It's just popped into my head. The idea of karma, can it be passed down from generation to generation? We hear about uh, what the indigenous families went through um, generations ago, and is that kind of a karma thing that is being passed down to their children and their children's children?
thank you, Greg. I'm so glad you asked because I wanted to touch on the idea that we have our personal karma, but we also have our own family karma. Then we can have the karma of a community or a city, or we can have our national karma, and then we can have our international, and then we have our world karma. So karma is, we could even talk about, it's been said, some of the world events where people maybe, on a plane, and they go down together, that they were paying a debt of karma and they had made a soul agreement for that experience. So, just as an example, and so there's also groups that are being formed in other ways through other laws of attraction and so on that are bringing them together to release and pay some karma. We can also look at it as an individual getting very ill, say, and a family having to live with perhaps somebody with a different ability, or somebody who having to, see a family member through something very difficult health challenge, and that, that a family member can even pass, and it's a gift to those who remain because they wake up to certain things, because it becomes an illuminating shock. And that illuminating shock can change the path of the karma dharma. So in relation to the indigenous people, I wouldn't know anything other than, I wouldn't single them out as being any different than any other group that carries something. And that something they're carrying, which can look really dark and heavy, the karma payment is huge. So if we think of some of the suffering going on in the Middle East, and I don't even want to think about it because it hurts so much. And typically, though, these things that hurt, this is the juicy bit. This is where the healing is where the hurt is. And so that's just really sort of like a guiding post, to not want to, for the things that hurt, the things we're afraid of, this is what you want to move toward, not away from, so that you can discover what it is within you that is creating this, and then you can be more mindful of how you navigate it. So yeah, that's my short answer, Greg.
That's great. Well, Silesia, I noticed you popped up on camera and you were writing notes quickly, so I have a feeling you might want to jump in here. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
So that's the trick. Don't turn on my camera and I won't be called on.
Okay, no worries.
I want to piggyback on something. Or Silesia, were you going to join?
You can go first.
No, please.
I would have to see what I wrote down.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, take your time and do that. We'll hear from Sarah, and whenever you're ready to jump in.
Well, I wanted to just piggyback on something that Susan was so eloquently sharing about ancestral karma and family and community and soul agreements. Because I had another insight come to me this morning about related to karma. And when people come to us with a story of suffering, right? Let's say I come to you and I say, my bird is wounded because when I came over with my bird ate the bad seeds you had laying around. And now my bird is sick. And maybe they won't say to you explicitly, it's your fault because of the seeds that you had. They may just say, my bird is sick and my bird is going to die. And so encoded in that this is what people do this is what we do when we're unconscious, right? We come to others and we speak of suffering, and it's that part that Susan just said about the hurt is where the healing is. That's the biggest gift, right? It's the thing in there. And when we speak too soon, instead of unpacking it, like, where is this bird's pain connected to mine? And what is it? What am I not unpacking here that I need to be responsible for? Usually, in a story of suffering and pain, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, there's a lot of blame going on. And that event, it's just the story will change the details, of the whether it's a bird or a cat or a dog or a neighbor, uh, but it's the same story in essence until we can say, okay, how am I response able? Am I blaming, or do I have response ability, which is my ability to respond to this thing and take ownership and then release my own suffering? And when we've had a lot of pain, this is a default method that happens. We don't want to feel that pain. We're afraid of feeling it, thinking it will be more painful. And so we distract ourselves by looking outside at the suffering of the world and becoming angry about it or sad about it, which just it becomes psychological entertainment. It's a way of avoiding the thing that's inside. Again, I'll say it again and again, pain comes delivered on wings of angels. It is a love letter. And we don't want to open that letter because we're afraid it's going to hurt. But when we open it, out fly a bunch of beautiful angels, and we can clear it. That's the love letter. Pain comes on wings of angels with love from our higher self of what it is that we need to learn.
I like that. Wings of angels. And I suppose the people with the bird would say, I hope you get sick, so what goes around comes around. But yeah, your way of
Which
looking
is
at
just
it.
creating more debt,
That's
right? And
right.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. If we can look at it as debt, because we understand our bank debts, the loan that needs to be paid off, and we become afraid or fearful of this. People don't like to think about their credit card debt or their bank debt. And when we begin to focus on the karmic debt, that it's not as important anymore. It will get paid off. Paying off the karmic debt is the most important thing that we do in any lifetime. It's I have a shirt. I'm wearing a Grateful Dead shirt, and it's got the skull with the rose, which is connected to memento mori. Memento mori is the concept of every day that you're alive, being aware of your death and being able to live life to the fullest, being aware that you will die. We all die. And so to die every day to ourselves is memento mori. And then Grateful Dead, then when we graduate, when we die, we can be grateful because we've been working on paying our debts while we're alive.
Wow, I never figured that one out from Grateful Dead. Now I have some context for that. Thank you. Celicia, are you ready to jump in?
Yes, sir.
Fire away.
The thing I wrote down was from Susan talking about positive and negative. I guess the balancing out of positive and negative. And the question was, how do I define karma and how do I feel about it? And that concept of positive and negative helped me to sum up how I feel about it because I don't believe in a tit for tat. Things that you create or things that you do to others happen to you. Because, I mean, just one easy example, somebody that is convicted of a crime, they spend their entire life in prison almost, and they're innocent. And I guess some people spread that out and say, oh, well, when you do something bad, like genocide, you pay it back over multiple lifetimes. But I don't directly see that. I don't have any evidence of that from any direct experience or observation. But I do believe in this thing of like switching of roles where you could you could be the daughter in one lifetime, and then you're mother the mother of your daughter in another lifetime, and one lifetime you could be the victim, another lifetime you could be the perpetrator. And I do see this kind of um, this up and down, positive and negative role switching. So I believe in karma in that way. But I think karma is only meaningful if the person puts stock into it. Because in my personal experience, once I die and I go back to the heavens, um, I just feel, well, I've heard people describe it as feeling like they know everything and they're every single point of everything that ever existed. And some people say they know every single thing that happened, every single experience, they know it. And so the karma, I think, in my personal experience of feeling like I needed to come back to earth to pay something off, that comes into play because I can only really remember a fragment of one or two past lives, and that's what drew me here, to get another chance, a corrective experience, to do those things over. But once I get back to my natural self, I believe that I will be the whole picture again, not just this pixel. And um, and I also think that the ones that send us here in the bodies, I don't believe that they care about morality, because in a room full of star seeds, you have some that are wholeheartedly believe in climate change or vaccines, and then you have others that think those things are false or hoaxes or scams. You have both sides, um, and in my own experience, those that send you down here, they're sending, Democrats and Republicans. They're sending good and bad. So I don't think they care about it. I think they like for you to care about it because it makes you invested in the Earth experience. But um, I guess the last thing I'll say about this, about karma. So I would say that it matters if the person, for myself, like I said, I'm fixated on these like 5 seconds of two past lives I've had, and that defines my whole experience here. But I've just gone to a place where it, it doesn't it doesn't really matter to me to try to correct those things. I know once I'm my full self and I have my full memories, it's actually not going to matter. And once my life or this particular Earth cycle ends, it's also not going to matter. So I just am focusing now on just trying to have enjoyable experiences, and I just let that go. A fixation on paying debts. Um, he said lessons you haven't learned. I like that description. Um, yeah, if you want to fixate on it, it's going to be a lesson or something you've done wrong that you're trying to fix. But once you are back to a state where you're connected to everything, it's impossible to be biased or inadequate or partial or insufficient, etc. So you're just uh it's a lesson you haven't learned, but it's also a lesson that you already know, kind of thing. Uh, that's what I have so far.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. Maybe we maybe we choose to come back based on karmic experiences or what we want to brush up on or uh grow grow more. Um yeah, so thank you for that, Alicia. Michael, you wanted to jump in. Your hand has been raised and you're muted. You must unmute yourself, young man.
Thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you very much. I have my tiny feather here. And I was given a gift like Laura or Sarah um, at the front gate yesterday. This feather was at the entrance, and so I have it right beside my expression. One day at a time. One day at a time. So what we're really all talking about is eternity. We're talking about eternity. We're not talking about um, anything else but eternity. And Susan mentioned it. She said, all the planets in the sky are round, circular. The planet you're on is circular. Some people would say it's flat, but that's okay. They can go watch Elvis Presley movies. But the bottom line here is everything's in a circle. So, of course, what goes around comes around. How could it be otherwise? It's a natural cosmic law. The tapestry of the sky teaches you that everything goes around, comes around. It's circular. We live in cycles. So there's a Hyperborean, Adamic, Lemurian, Atlantean, Aryan, to come, karate, spiritual, cycles, cycles, cycles. And so the Buddhists would call this the wheel of samsara, the wheel of samsara, that we keep going around and looping and popping out and going around and looping and popping out. And we end up in a situation called planet Earth, which is a schoolhouse. That's the only reason for its existence. It's a schoolhouse. And it's involved, the Mother Earth is involved in an experiment. And the experiment is, can the Mother Earth spiritualize, become a sacred planet like other sacred planets around it? Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, etc. All of the planets that are sacred, that have in their existence a humanity which exists and which has overcome. And what we're doing here is overcoming. We're overcoming something. And what is that something? What is that something? The obstacles that we ourselves created within ourselves. No one else, just you. You created all the obstacles to overcoming. So it was interesting. I have so many thoughts that burn through my mind in relation to what goes around comes around. Look at the moment in history that we find ourselves right now. Netanyahu is Hitler. Donald Trump is Mussolini. Huh? Huh? What goes around comes around. Huh? Huh? You tell me there's no examples? I'll give you one. There's one for you. You also live in a world where Netanyahu has been condemned by an international court for genocide, war crimes, and an international court has said that the state of Israel is to be condemned, having no proper authority to do what they're doing where they're doing it. 2 world court rulings, outstanding. Netanyahu and the United States had an obligation to arrest that man when he comes into their jurisdiction. He's been to the United States 7 times since the ruling. They didn't arrest him. The state of Israel is still doing what it's doing. What needs to happen is we have to overcome. So we're challenged to overcome. How do I, as an individual, with whatever goes around comes around, do I deal with it in a cosmic sense, in a solar sense, in a planetary sense, and in an individual sense? So all of my existence is Sit Chat Ananda. Eternal existence, eternal consciousness, eternal bliss. That's what exists. That's what Celicia is identifying about when she's fully in her memory. She's describing Sit Chat Ananda. And that's what we all have as our heritage, if you will. So yoga, meaning union with the soul, is the critical feature in being able to get off the wheel of samsara. Shoot out off the wheel. Shoot out off the wheel into something grander and more spectacular, which is your birthright. That's your birthright. You're spit from a central spiritual sun as a spark of love. And you experience many, many, many things, many lives, many, many, many places, many incarnations, many, many things. So if you want to talk about what goes around comes around, imagine how many times you've done something wrong way back when, and it's going to meet you 500 years from now. It doesn't matter because they're just something that you created. And so you have to learn how to be a better creator. That's it. Not such a reactor, but a creator. So rather than reacting, take the C in reaction, put it at the front, and become a creator, because that's what you are. That's what you are. So I'm guided to tell you that in the means of yoga, the 8 means of yoga, there are 5 rules and 5 commandments, and there are 5 extra ways that apply in the discipline of trying to overcome. And one of the rules is harmlessness, okay? Harmlessness. So I just happened to stumble upon the writings on the 3 rules of harmlessness, which are so gorgeous that I think I just have to read them to you. So these are the rules of harmlessness. So when you want to practice harmlessness, this is what you have to keep in mind. Rule 1, enter thy brother's heart and see his woe. Then speak, yet loose them not thyself. This is the work to speak with understanding. The force received by him or her will aid him or her in this work. Rule 2, enter thy brother's mind and read his thoughts, but only when thy thoughts are pure. Then think. Let the thought thus created enter thy brother's mind and blend with his. Yet keep detached thyself, for none have the right to sway a brother's mind. The only right there is will make him say, he loves, he standeth by, he knows, he thinks with me, and I am strong to do the right. Learn thus to think, learn thus to speak. The 3rd rule, blend with thy brother's soul and know him as he is. Only upon the plane of soul can this be done. Elsewise, the blending feeds the fuel of his lower life. Then focus on the plan. Thus will he see the part that he and you and all men play. Thus will he enter into life and know the work accomplished. These three energies of speech, thought, and purpose, when wielded with understanding by the cella and blended with the awakening focus of his brother whom he seeks to aid, are the three energies which all adepts work. So the concept here is about harmlessness being the virtue of the work when we're talking about karma. And back to Sarah's example of pointing the finger. And harmlessness, the practice of harmlessness in thought, speech, soul, is all about the extra effort that we make inside. And one last thought in dealing with karma and dharma from the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord declared, whenever true religion declines and irreligion prevails, I manifest myself, and in every age I incarnate to establish spiritual law and to destroy evil. That coming is Lord Maitreya. Bless us all. Susan's hand is up. Shoot away, Susan.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks. I just wanted to add something to this. I really love what you said, Michael. I love that understanding. And in our human condition, we bring this duality in our thinking: good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, should, shouldn't, and on it goes. And it's a very subjective judgment. And even in that subjective judgment, we can be creating karma through all the examples I've given of pointing the finger and deciding what's right and wrong and so on. And in that duality, that subjectivity, we come up with opinions and views of our world. And I'm wanting just to add the idea through some of the spiritual teachings around the idea that there are the lords of karma and there is the tribunal of cosmic justice. And so between lifetimes, the teaching is that we aren't judged from subjectivity, but objectivity. What lifetime are you in? What is the weight of your heart? And so on. There's a whole teaching around this. And you know, the idea of these 108 lifetimes in a 26,000 year cycle is to, you know, purify the vessel and to release and surrender and let go and all of these things that we all here understand as positives for evolution. However, what I want to say in some ways, if we look at the non-dual teachings, though, in particular, a teacher Michael and I spoke with recently, is it's all a dream. And, you know, the word need, you know, do we need to do anything? Do we need to wake up? Do we need to? You know, and some teachers would argue we don't need to do anything. However, through our own our own contract and our own curriculum, we will feel drawn to do things. However, to some extent, this illusion of separation that has us thinking this dual nature that I'm separate from people and I'm separate from the human, common human experience and all that, that's my illusion. That's my sleepwalking through. And there's some truth in it. It is a dream. It's a dream place. And we can also agree that we don't need to do anything. So I think we have to hold loosely. I of course, I follow the teachings on karma and dharma, but not in a way that makes me suffer, not one that has me condemning myself. I did this, I did that. Plus, that's our subjective human minds. It says, oh, you raped, and so you're going to be raped. You murdered, you're going to be murdered. That is very limited 3D human mind shaping up karma in a very basic way that I don't actually can support, because I think it's a far more loving, compassionate universe. God as generating, organizing, destroying, whatever ways you want to look at it. I see this all for out of love. And so if feeling like a dream is the way to go for some people, I think it's the way to go. We have to follow. And if we're drawn to, say, Eastern teachings that, talk about the laws of karma and so on, then that's where we go. And we can agree it's a dream and not get too stuck on it and the judging mind about all that that's creating even more karma, which the loop we want to get out of. My final words. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you, Sue.
Just so invigorating. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know we've gone over. I'm just like a fire horse, really would love to share this part because all these synchronicities just started coming in when we keep using the word dharma. And one of our elders, our good friends that lives up the street, Phil, he's dad's age, and he was in a band called the Dharma Bums. And Phil's birthday is April 27th, which is Michael's birthday. So they're the same age, same birthday. He was in a band called the Dharma Bums. And his son's name is Bodhi, which is the Bodhisattva, right? And the Bodhisattva is the one that sits under the tree and awakens, right? It reaches enlightenment. Bodhi's girlfriend is Colombian, and her name is Nirvana. And Nirvana is where's Bodhi right now? He's entering Nirvana. Just kidding, guys. Pretend I didn't say that. Yeah, just Control Alt Delete. And this idea of another quick pun, this idea of the flat earther, right? If someone comes up to you at a party and they tell you they're a flat earther, you can tell them that the topic of conversation is just as flat, right? Because everything is a circle and it's very easy to see. And I connected to this, received another teaching yesterday when I was holding the horseshoe that I acquired. I also acquired a book called Decoding Stonehenge. And I opened to any page while I was holding the horseshoe, and it showed a diagram of Stonehenge that we see it as a circle. It's actually a horseshoe. It's a horseshoe where it's open to the east. So this idea of the circle and then really being a horseshoe, and a womb also it's a circle, it's also a horseshoe, right? And so maybe that's the key to breaking the wheel of samsara, is beginning to activate the horseshoe. Phil, the meaning of the name Phil is lover of horses. Horseshoe forged in the fire, and we are in the year of the fire horse. I mean, wow, it's all there, right? This alignment, this beauty, everything is symbolism. And this is the guiding light on the path to help us get through these difficulties. That's the joke, the cosmic joke, is there's all these exciting things to go, keep going, keep flowing, keep letting yourself get carried. And I made a really big breakthrough recently related to my difficult relationships, whether it's family members, the suffering that I'd felt from discord with certain family members. And this idea, well, it's past life, we're repeating things. And I had an aha moment where I thought our past life was not difficult and challenging. It was loving, and we were close, and we were stoked, and we had so much love that in the soul contract we said, okay, we're going to cause challenges for each other in this next one because we really want each other to grow. And so that pain and that challenge is there because we agreed with love, so much love, not out of like, I'm going to get you in the next one. I'm going to help you in the next one because I love you so much. And I know the perfect thing that is going to assist you in growing. And it's not going to be comfortable. But are you ready? And we all go, yeah, let's do it. Right. And then we come here and we forget. And it's not like, oh, well, we got to figure out a way to love each other. We already do. We love each other so much that we agreed to create some kind of conflict, which in the Hawaiian tradition of Ho'oponopono, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you and I love you. You know, and what is Hawaii? It's a Hawaiian tradition. And what do you, when you think of Hawaii, it's the birds and the flowers and the ocean and this vibrant life. And that's who we are. The essence of a flower, the essence of the bird, all of the Hawaiian language has encoded in it love and spirit. Kane means my spirit is of God's spirit, and that's everybody. That's the I am presence. We all have that. So there is no separation. It's in the illusion of separation that we get to create friction because that's how we grow. That's how we evolve. That's what we're here to do. Why would we separate? Because it's an experiment, an evolution. How much can we grow? And so when we decide to activate that higher vibration, the vibration of the flower, the vibration of the light, then it changes. It's no longer this struggle. It's this flow, this excitement, this synchronicity. When we activate the true self of joy and gratitude, I mean, look at me. I live in Woodstock, New York. And how did I get here? How did I end up in the place where I can be this and activate this? Well, the math of the cosmos lined things up in a certain way that brought me here. I did not seek it out. It brought me here and I'm here. And it's all sorts of challenges as well that I'm up to because it's exactly what Dad said about enter thy brother's heart, enter thy brother's mind, and blend with thy brother's soul. And then you're not seeing it anymore from the third dimensional perspective. You're seeing that baby within someone, that innocent, pure, beautiful flower of who they are. And I just continue to activate it within myself. So I'll leave you with that and the horseshoe of Stonehenge.
Thank you, Sarah, for the props and the positive note. You know, we always like to go out on a positive note. You put the cherry on top this time, so much appreciated. Thank you, everyone. Are we good to wrap up and do the mantra of unification, or does anyone want a last word in edgewise? Okay. Sue, would you like to take us through it?
I would love to. Thank you. And I just want everyone to know, so John Michael Landers, who had to leave for another meeting, he's our speaker in 2 weeks from now. And the title of his talk is Remember Who You Are, Finding Your True Self in a Noisy World. And he has an excellent message to share. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you'll be able to join us. I will share my screen for the mantra of unification, and then we can carry on with our beautiful day. Here we go. Maybe. Maybe not. Sorry, the right screen. One moment, please. Moving around. Here we go. I got it.
Michelle has it memorized, so she can take us through it.
The mantra of unification. The souls of all are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Namaste, miigwech. Amen, and thank you.
And gracias. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful conversation. We'll see you on the 26th for our next as Sue mentioned, John Michael will be taking us on yet another positive ride. So I can't wait to hear that and see you all again.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.